Well, it's the 17th today, and this video, it's just a report on what the weather's like here in mid-October. Now, I wanted to do this exactly the middle of the month on the 15th, but it was pouring rain that day, and yesterday I came out. The beginning clip on this video is what I got yesterday. I came out to do a recording and the sky opened up on me, and so now it's the 17th. Well, on the 4th we had a spotty frost. It killed back a lot of the leaves on the black fishkew pumpkin, the ones that were more exposed. Over the next few days, this Gerhardia pumpkin plant started to die back. The black fishkew leaves were turned black right away. I still got a few more apples off this tree. It was another 20 pounds or something. But the leaves are all turning yellow now on the apple trees, ready to fall. And actually, they are falling. So it's just in the last couple of days the main leaf fall started. And yeah, see, there's one apple there. So pretty much all the apples have fallen off this tree. Before I forget, the forecast as of 8 o'clock this morning was saying that it's a very high possibility of frost tomorrow night. That would be on the 18th, the night of the 18th. And as you can see, the Kennebec potatoes, they're not dead yet. I think this is Kennebec potatoes as well, but I'm not sure. There was russets here, and I've dug through the old bed. Any of the coal crops, of course, are still going strong. I got another head of broccoli that I can harvest. I'm leaving them there as long as I can because I've had trouble with the traditional crops this year. And even though, they're too big for me really, the main problem is I don't have very many of them, so let them grow as big as they can. Rutabaga, it doesn't matter the size, you let them grow, they'll still taste the same. The only thing with rutabaga you got to be careful about is a micronutrient called boron. All of the cucumber plants are dying back now. I think there's a couple around that we might see that are still fairly healthy, but as you can see, this one nice and exposed. Just cold air. It wasn't the frost that got these. So they're all dying back now. I got quite a few cucumbers off of those. So that was one of the things I was happy with. I'm happy with the fact that I've got volunteer dill, which is another one of those things that I can just try to have volunteer pop up, because they grow up a tall skinny stalk. They're not going to stop anything from growing underneath them. So if I spread some seeds around, let them volunteer wherever they want to volunteer. I'm happy with the beans. I basically got what I expected. In the end, I ended up with a little over 3 kilograms out of 3 beds. That is dried beans, of course, so we're talking 6 kilograms or more by the time you rehydrate them. I have right here, of course, yeah, the slugs are there, but this is a nice firm head of cabbage. Let's feel this one in here. Oh, that one's gone firm as well. So I've got 2 nice firm heads of cabbage there. And over on this side, this is a fair size head for me. It's firmed up. It's still a little squishy, but it'll be good. cucamelon is not really showing any real signs of stress yet. There's a little bit lightened up, I guess. But they're still there, and I've got a few, like I said in earlier videos, and next year we'll try again. I'm happy with what I accomplished with cucamelon this year. Across these beds, of course we don't know what's going to become of it. That depends on the weather, really. I don't think I showed you before, but see, I have some that are starting to swell up there. So will they be big enough to harvest the rutabaga by the time the frost kills them? That I don't know. And there's quite a few carrots in there. I might get some small carrots among that. There is some full-grown carrots. But now, the other two that was pulled out of this bed, when it was pulled up, it was short, even though the top looked like it would be a big carrot. Over in the strawberry beds, the tops of the carrots are bigger, so we'll see. And I will try to do something more with the strawberry plants next year. This is my first year growing golden beets, but basically I'm going to be using them like I would use carrots, except for, of course, with these you cut them up in cubes. And I've got a lot of big beets there. So that's another thing that I'm happy with this year. Turnip, normally you pick them at softball size, but in reality there's too many there for me to be using them up. And my quote cold room was not staying cold, so I really had no choice but to leave them here. And so now I've got a bunch of big turnip to harvest. So over where the garlic was, there was that one volunteer parsnip. And this, of course, is a parsnip plant. I can take some seeds like that. Parsnip is best to be planted in the fall anyway. Sometime around, like where I am, mid-October. I could sprinkle a few seeds around, and I'll do this with the dill as well. Right? You just and wonder where will the seeds pop up, right? Just sprinkle light ones up around, because you don't want a whole bunch, but I'll have a parsnip will probably pop up here and there, and it'll be food that I didn't have to pay attention to. I mean, the one that was right there, it just grew there. I didn't pay any attention to it, except for say, oh, that's parsnip. And I know people who like them, so this is the kind of thing where if I'm wanting to be able to give gifts for my garden, yeah, throw these things around. They volunteer, they grow themselves. Of course, I picked all the grapes, except for there was ones in here that wasn't ripe yet. I got to come back out, and you can see some big bunches in there, eh? That I have to get. That's the seed on mint. And let's turn around. And of course, this is how oregano goes. They will spread by seeds, oregano especially. I found it in spots all over the garden. Birds carry the seed, right? Yesterday I remembered the name of this vine. Now I forgot again. Starts with a C. Anyway, the leaves are turning. That's just their regular fall turning of the leaves. And same thing goes with the rose bushes. They just turn yellow and drop off. No frost has hit here yet. It's by the south side of the house, right? And of course it's always warmer. There's a couple of smaller tomatoes that I had put here. I think they're growing. And as well as down here, see, I left some just to see if they'll grow. There's even some flowers there. The occasional flower was there yesterday anyway. I'm not seeing, there's one flower right there. Tremoides. An edible mushroom, but most especially amateur mushroom hunters, they avoid them because that's white gills, and most white gill mushrooms are poisonous, and so for the fear of lookalikes they avoided Tremoides. Snowball bush turns red in the fall. You see, some places the tomato plant is still even quite healthy. Now this one, as you go over here, and they were more up and exposed, they got some blackening on the leaves, but they're still all alive. Even the ones out by the fence. Echinacea flowers, there's a couple left, but this one of course has gone to seed. Let's see, they're not dried though. Once they dry, of course, all of this stuff on top will brush right off, right? I got quite a few Aunt Molly's ground cherry, right? And there's a lot on the plant now. So we'll see how well the plant survives. See, that one just fell off. Now what I'm noticing, these are split because of the variation in water, but that's not what I'm saying. They'll be yellow. If they are either big green at all, they'll have more of a tomato taste. But when they turn yellow like this, then they just have that sweet ground cherry taste. But there's none falling. That one just fell off the plant just as I touched it. These grapevines, Valiant, they produced grapes this year. Very tiny ones, but they were quite sweet. And of course now they're beginning to lose all their leaves. See, the thing about Tremoides, if you get it growing, they grow into a nice sized mushroom. I did eat some of them one time. I fried them up. And quite a few of them grow around here. Of course, the red right there, that's the regular wild pin cherry. And the maple is turning a golden color. Today, the sky is almost empty. There's no forecast of any rain for today. So, great day for me to go to Looseport. See, Romeo cherry started to lose its leaves earlier, and we're wondering why. Juliet cherry just losing its leaves now. Here's the pear tree. They turn red in the fall before the leaves fall. What was it, a hell campaign I put here? Anyway, we didn't get a flower this year, and this is its second year. So next year, I guess, maybe we'll get flowers along there, Vel campaign. Yeah, excuse the shadow, I gotta come up from this way. This plant is pretty much gone. Might as well take this little cucumber in the house. There are several flower buds, female flower buds on this plant that I could technically harvest. The plant, you can see a few leaves that are kind of light in color. So it's kind of getting stressed out with the cold now. But the thing is, as long as it's still alive, I want to get this to grow as big as possible. Well, it might open up, but not going to get much of a flower on the Jerusalem artichoke this year. But we'll speak back to Romeo cherry again. This is also Romeo cherry, live as can be, and it's not even starting to lose its leaves yet. Now over from the Romeo cherry, as you know, we've got our golden raspberries, and they are an everbearing type, which basically means that the primocanes will produce this bunch of berries on the tip if the growing season goes on long enough. But you do have to have a fairly long growing season. So this year, over the past 2 weeks, I've been coming out just to see if there was any ripe, just for a garden snack, right? Here's a ripe one here. Sugar maple came along fairly well this year. The asparagus is doing better and better this year. I planted that so many years ago, I can't remember how many years ago. But I had it planted over there, right down in the corner. And as I said many times, the water table comes high there. And this stuff was sitting there 4 or 5 years, and no sir, it didn't want to grow. Come on, it will grow every year, little tiny sticks, and nothing. So I dug it up and I put it up here where it was a little bit drier, and they've been coming up. Last 2 years I've been able to harvest a couple of spears, and if I can get to actually tending to it and get the grass away from it, then it'll take right off and I'll be able to have a lot of asparagus. The upper potato stalk is dead in this compost bin. That one down there is still quite alive, but I could start to take the top off of this now and sift it out. I'm hoping I get the energy and a nice day there. Now over in the other bin, you see there's a potato plant growing right up near the top. I think that's some kind of, that right there is some kind of a coal crop, it looks like. So just a little walk up through, look at how the trees are turning color. See our common maple, the regular wild maple here. It's not completely a red maple, but it puts on quite the color display. So we'll come in here now and have a final look at, this is black locust. You can see how well it's grown. Now I've got the camera hand out, I don't have the tripod, so So one leaf is more than the length of my hand. You can see it's taken off. So what's this, 3 years old? I would have set the seed. Then I grew it for a year. I planted it. And it was there for a year. And this would be its 3rd year. That one grew. That one over there didn't come back. This one was eaten down, but it put on quite a big shoot up there. So if the moose don't come back and destroy it again, it'll take right off. And that one over there did well. So we've got 2 here that I planted. So I, not last winter, the winter before, I set these, and they were, or was it last winter? No, it was the winter before. So these are 2 years old now. Zoom in so you can see. It's hard to see him on the camera, but he is there. I didn't set the other, was it 3 male seaberry plants I had, because I'm trying to figure out where I should put them. I kind of want the place to look like I didn't have a plan when I did it, right? So more of like a natural forest where everything is just where it lands, that's where it lands. So I was kind of thinking that I cut down that tree that I was saying that I'd rather cut it down before it blows down. Now my chainsaw was still having an issue. I wanted to follow it up here, but it was cutting on a curve, so I couldn't get the cut right. It ended up falling across the embankment. But that's irrelevant. I have an opening here now. If I go down to where the stump was, that was a nice strong tree too, eh? I mean, look at that. But then I look back, now I have this opening. I could just put the male flowers, plants here, because they're wind pollinated. So the wind coming off of any male plants I have here could potentially blow it right down there toward the 2 female plants I have down right there. Because this tree fell sideways along the embankment rather than up it the way I wanted it to fall, you got caught in this birch, and I had to cut that one down. I didn't want to cut that one down actually, because it was quite a healthy birch. So I think I'm going to cut that up into logs and see if I can get the logs out first and get it sawed into lumber. Which means to say, of course, I'm going to have to make one more trip down across here. Now this is mostly blueberry plants here. That's the cherry trees that I don't want to run down over there with the quad. I'll come down across here because if you look up in these 2 trees, you see how the top, that's not the leaves fell off them, the top is dead and it could break off at any time at all. That one there and that one there. The bottom, well, I'll see what they're like when it cuts down, whether or not I want to take a log off of that or just cut it up for firewood. Anyway, to do that, I'll have to come down here with the quad and make sure I don't run over the honey locust that's here. And then go up around the backside of that habitat pile. There was a couple of apples left. They're still good to eat. I think it is. And that'll be super ripe now. There's still one way up in the top of the tree, so we're here right behind the cellar right now, and that has a similar apple to the one on the cliff. The last few apples, bunches of apple juice I made from there, the apples beside the hen house. It was so good because at this point, of course, the apples are ripe to the point that they'll be going over ripe. But at that point, they're also very sweet. So, probably be quite long enough video. I'll end it here. Thank you for watching. I'm glad I've got this done now. So we've got a report on the weather conditions as of October the 17th, 2024. Hope you enjoy seeing around the wilderness area that I call home. If you do and you're not subscribed, well, hit the subscribe button and come back for more. I shall see you in the next video.